Well, it's that time, folks. It's that time. And you know what we're going to do, folks? Today, we're going to talk about the one and only, the 19-time mukbang dumpster diver herself, Foodie Kenobi, because we're going to jump in and see what she been up to. Because you know she been putting out that high-quality content over there. You know the one that we've been begging for, the one that she lay sideways on the couch 99% of the live stream with the camera off. We can't even see her on the camera, folks. That's where we at. But it only gets better from there because Foodie Kenobi is now on the the grifting tour. She is just grifting away, folks. And you know what she wants? A donation from the audience. Does she want $5? Maybe $10? Maybe $100? Absolutely not. She wants $10,000, folks. Yes, she wants her audience to give her $10,000 for what? So that she could buy a brand new car? Nope. She needs to get back to Canada. That's what she's saying, folks. Can you imagine that? She been over here. She made $90,000 in super chats, and she asking somebody else to give her $10,000 to get to Canada. I want you to think about this carefully. She has flown to Thailand. She has flown to Kuwait 50 million billion times. She has flown to Qatar. She has flown to all these other countries back and forth and spent all her money. I can't even believe the entitlement that Foodie Kenobi over there be believing. She think that her audience is responsible to pay for her to go back to the country that she was there after she has wasted all their super chats, all their money from AdSense that she made, and she wants even more. Can you imagine just taking from your audience and then even taking more and then just complaining because you can't get back home because you wasted all your money? Now, my question is, Foodie Kenobi, why isn't your husband, the person that you say is making millions of dollars or $5 or whatever he's doing, and he's a hard-working man, he has businesses, hundreds of thousands of businesses, and he is making money. Why are you asking your audience over here to give you the money? Why don't you take that $9,000 that you gave him when you first got there and ask for it back to fly yourself all the way back to Canada? Because I don't see nobody responsible to bring you back to Canada for what you've done to your audience. You do not even be nice to your audience. You be rude, you be nasty, you say disgusting things, you trash your audience all the time over there. And then you come on here and say, could I please have $10,000? I don't want to stay no more. I don't think that's how it works, Foodie Kenobi. The idea of having a YouTube channel is to provide content to your audience. And from what I've been watching for the past 3 years and 4 years and maybe even, I don't even know how long you here, you ain't providing nothing. I could go through all your streams there and there is no content. Even the content you try to put out is not content. That is just, how can I say, filler. Like if you bought yourself a sandwich and you got some just no inside of it. You just got the bread and that's it. And I want you to think about this. She came on here asking for this $10,000 and she's putting out all these promises, folks. And you know how many promises we heard up in here? All the commenters in the bottom right here. You know how many times we heard this? Billion times. And what did she say? I'm going to give you great content. I'm going to give you the best content. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to climb Mount Everest. Remember that one? For years we heard, we ain't seen none of that happen. And now she's saying, but when I get back to Canada, I'm going to provide you with some of the best content. I'm going to drive around. I'm going to do that. And you know what we're going to see? Absolutely nothing. You know why? Because that's the only content she's providing. And another thing she's providing is clickbait title after title, and it's for months. Think about it. Her audience was like peaced out. They were like, I'm out of here, because she was just doing anything she could do in the title. Clickbait whatever, clickbait this, clickbait that, you know, whatever nonsense she posted up there. And if you haven't been paying attention, she's saying her and the one and only Captain Keyboard, the guy who stands next to her videos and they all think they married, is getting a divorce. But did she say it like that? She said we getting separated or whatever nonsense. Another clickbait title. And now she's saying she sold the ring and all this nonsense. Does anybody actually in the comment section believe anything that's going on here? Because there is 100%, 0%. None of this is happening. And she just trying to make it back to Canada for what? She loves to go back there for Halloween and the seasons and all that stuff to get some cash or whatever with her family. And this is where we at. I want you to think about it. She just recently flew all the way to Qatar, right? So she could hang out in the air condition and just mukbang her brains out in the hotel room and be in relaxation away from her husband or the guy that stands next to her in videos or whatever whatever nonsense it is like that. She even said that she was going to stay there for 2 weeks or something, but she immediately, like in 1 week or a few days, she flew all the way back to Syria to be with him. Can you imagine? She wasted all that extra money that she paid for them hotels. They ain't going to give you no refund. Sorry, my bad, no take backs or something like that. That's not how it works. So she took all the money that was donated in Super Chats, all the money that people sent to PayPal so she could instantly get that money, and she just threw it in the garbage. She took it and she says, well, I don't want to be here. I'm going to go back. Boom. And she just dropped it and she took everybody's donation because she don't care about nobody but herself. She very selfish, and think about it. And she just like, well, I need air conditioning. I don't want to be here. I'm going to go back early. Keep the money. Keep the change, $1,000. It really shows what kind of person she is. Because I watch right here and I'm like, is she? No. There's no way she a nice person. Because I watch all them videos and them live streams, and the way she treats, she would never have a job. There's no way possible. If she was working in any sort of job and she treated people like that, boom, fired on the first. They fire her during the interview. They'd be like, sorry, you're fired. They were stamped right on the top of her resume. Fired before she even got hired. That's how bad it is. And her attitude towards everybody, she is ungrateful, she's entitled, and she believes that all your money, right? Anybody that's donated, that's her money too. Because think about it, she like, don't send me a super chat because YouTube might get a cut out of their percentage. No. I want my money right now. I want it instantly. You just send it over here to PayPal. And that's even what she said. She said, don't send it to super chat. She said, send it to PayPal. And think about it, she want that instantly so she could probably give it to Captain Keyboard over there, so he can get himself a new Casio keyboard with pre-recorded happy birthday songs, and he can play them all night long, and he could just party it up with his friends. That's what I think's going on over here. But how can this get any better, folks? Is because Foodie Wan Kenobi, she has that big GoFundMe. Think about it. She can't even start up her own GoFundMe because I think she banned or something like that, and she actually asked Pete's. She's like, oh, Pete's, can you please sign me up and make me a GoFundMe and have people send me $10,000 under your name? Can you imagine asking somebody that you treated like complete garbage? That's what you treated that person like, complete garbage over there, me, and just abandoned them and just ran off to Syria and said, I can't talk to you, my bad, I can't be around you. That's the type of person. And you had the, I don't even know what to say, to ask them to make a GoFundMe for you for $10,000. You can see that Foodie Wan Kenobi does nothing but use the people around. She got plenty of time for Pete's when she needed to GoFundMe, right? But when Pete's came up inside of her room one time to ask a question, she was like embarrassed and said, get out of here. My husband don't want nobody in my room or some nonsense like that. But you can see that your husband right now, the guy that stands next to you, Captain Keyboard, is more than happy to have Pete sign up for a $10,000 GoFundMe when you're not supposed to be talking to Pete. But that's a whole different story. You see how this is changing people? She just making this all up and she just backpedaling. She got a bicycle that only go backpedal, and it just goes backwards. If you seen her on the street, she just be driving backwards. That's how her whole story goes. It doesn't make no sense. All this is okay until it's not okay unless it benefits Foodie Wan Kenobi. And that's what I see. She take advantage of everybody around her. She take advantage of all her subscribers, all her fans, all her dedicated watchers. And I see people over there donating hundreds of dollars to get her go back to, back to Canada, and thousands of dollars to go back to Canada. Now, my question is, does anybody actually believe if one of them donators, one of them fans that donated her thousands of dollars, like $10,000, whatever, $1,500, said, like in 6 months, they're like, I'm struggling right now. I can't pay my rent. I ain't got no money. I got a medical bill. Can you please send me $1,500, Foodie Wan Kenobi, because I sent you back to Canada to help you and I really need that money. Do you think that at all she gonna ever send that person anything? Absolutely not. They ain't gonna get nothing, folks. The only thing they're gonna get from Foodie Wan Kenobi is the block button or hide that user or something like that. They're gonna get instantly disappear from the chat, never to be seen again. And that person could be struggling like, wow, I really cared about Foodie Wan Kenobi. I sent her back. I wanted her safety. I wanted her to get there. And now that I'm struggling, I'm blocked. I gotta go on and I can't even talk and ask. And that's what I actually believe. She wouldn't send them nothing. And I've seen it before, because I remember somebody sent her money to get BBJ groomed or go to the vet because BBJ was very sick or something like that. And you know what she did with that money? absolutely nothing. She wasted it. She mukbanged her brains out. She went to, I don't know, all over. She driving to the outhouse and road trips and all this garbage she was buying. And you know what she said to the person later? She said, well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep the money. You send it to me. That's your fault. I'm going to use it for what I want and never used it for BBJ or anybody else. That's what's the type of person she is. She ain't going to care what you give her. She's not going to care what you did. And she's never going to give you anything back. You know why? Because she care about one person, and that's only her, right? And the moment that you know benefit to her, you go from being a beezer to a hater, and you are on the list, folks, and she never going to bother with you. I see her over there trashing people that actually donated, and she be like, well, you only donated $1, but that's $1 you didn't have to get back to Canada, Foodie One Kenobi. So who are you to judge? Because you ain't giving nobody anything, right? And the best part of this, I was watching all these live streams to see what's going on, right? And she says she need all this $10,000 to immediately get back to Canada because she's in fear for her life and is unsafe and all this type of stuff that she's saying is going on there. So the best part she said is that she now has the money to get all the way back to Canada, right? But she's not going to leave. So I guess she doesn't feel in fear, right? She's not bothered by that or anything like that. The fear has disappeared. So she's going to wait until she reaches her goal. And that goal could be in a month, 2 months, 3 months, a million, billion years. It doesn't matter. So my question is, if a person is in so much fear, they want to escape, they want to get away from the conditions, they want to get back to Canada as fast as they can, and they got a flight to get there, and they saying, well, yo, I'm not bothered. Who cares? When I get a chance, when I get my 10,000, I'm going to head back. It does look a little bit suspicious, Foodie One Kenobi, because I know anybody, if they feel in an unsafe condition and somebody could give them a bus ticket or a train ticket or a flight to get away from it, they would be out of there. They will figure it out when they get back home. But Foodie One Kenobi's in no rush to get anywhere until she gets your hard-earned money, right? And that's what it's all about. She gonna wait to get the $10,000, and then she's saying she needed like how can I say, an apartment that was $2,500 a month. Can you imagine being so entitled that you believe after asking and grifting money, $10,000 from people, that you should have an apartment that's $2,500 a month? Maybe you should set your goal a little bit lower. $1,200, $1,000 fine. A studio that you could afford. To say I'm gonna get some new villa for $2,500, $3,000 a month, and then you asking people for money, it really shows what she thinks of her audience. The audience to her is just another swipe of the credit card. They're gonna pay for all my luxuries, and then if I don't like them, I'm gonna block them and replace them. And that's what I think the whole thing is about. Well, that's the end of the video, folks, and I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day. Later.